behind us. So we're here today to make it clear to Governor Hochul and the state DOT to prioritize health over highways. The Cross Bronx Expressway is already one of the most congested roadways in the nation. More than 130,000 vehicles use this expressway every day, with tens of thousands of mega polluting trucks clogging up our roads to move freight and goods to faraway destinations, while drivers from all over the region jam up I-95. Despite this, the state's $900 million plan would bring more pollution to tens of thousands of local residents in this neighborhood, including bringing even more pollution during construction right to the doorstep of over 3,000 NYCHA seniors, children, and families in Bronx River houses who already can't open their windows because of pollution. Our borough already suffers from the highest asthma rates due to dangerous air quality. And for the 17th year in a row, the Bronx has ranked dead last in health outcomes statewide. Children in the South Bronx have 20 times more asthma-related hospital visits than kids in other parts of the city. Expanding the Cross Bronx Expressway will only make these numbers even more devastating. And it's not just that it will bring more congestion and pollution. The new structure proposed for across the street would destroy parts of Starlight Park and negatively impact the Bronx River, unique green spaces that community depend on for mental health, physical activity, community celebrations, and programming for youth and families. To expand the highway, the state will cut down dozens of mature trees that serve as buffers, cleaning our air, with a new highway cutting right through the park, a park that community has worked for years to remediate and expand, and that is a critical resource for our neighborhood. The Bronx needs our leaders to listen to us. We don't need to expand a highway that already makes us sick. We need investments that connect our communities and make our streets safer and improve our health outcomes. We know Governor Hochul and the state DOT are listening. So Governor Hochul and DOT, put health over highways. Halt the Cross Bronx expansion now. Now I'd like to introduce our first speaker, a true champion and a representative for this community at the state level, Assemblymember Emerita Torres.
Good morning everyone.
If you're here and you got a sign and you came to rally, we're going to be your background.
Perfect, yes, come on in.
People
Come on in.
are supporting the assembly member taking this bold action today.
Thank you so much.
Come on, y'all, let's get in the shot.
Good morning everyone. My name is Emerita Torres. I'm proud to be the assembly member for this district, the 85th district. I'm here fighting with all of you because beyond being an assembly member for this district, I'm here because I love the Bronx. I was born and raised here and I'm committed to fighting for its future. The Five Bridges project forces us to confront a painful legacy, one in which massive infrastructure projects led by figures like Robert Moses displaced communities like ours, all in the name of progress that never included our voices and never materialized. Those policy decisions resulted in redlining, economic and racial segregation, and disastrous health disparities that we continue to live through every single day. The air pollution from the Cross Bronx Expressway is so toxic that my constituents, including from Bronx River houses, cannot open their windows. The asthma hospitalization rate in the Bronx is the highest in New York State. Bronxites can't travel east to west by bus efficiently, but we have cargo that can. That is why the thought of even temporarily expanding the structure and not even considering other opportunities to benefit our community is a step in the wrong direction. It is a step backward. We have an opportunity and we also have a responsibility to make this $900 million project an investment that will improve our livelihoods, not just the infrastructure of a highway we all despise. And while I know we have all accepted that we have to rehabilitate the bridges themselves, it is necessary because they are crumbling, we cannot and we will not move forward by repeating the mistakes of the past. I am fully committed to making sure our voices are heard, not only heard, but also embedded in every part of this process. It is more than infrastructure, it is about connection, it is about opportunity, and it is about community. This is about cleaner air, more green spaces, it's about eventually capping the Cross Bronx, less trucks on our roads, more green and electric transportation options, more investment and expansion of blue highways and ferry freight service. This is what this is about. These are all possibilities that must be on the table when we talk about transportation infrastructure and we talk about this project. This is what the Bronx is about. And thanks to decades of organizing and relentless advocacy from all the organizations that are here, including the Bronx River Alliance, The Point, in partnership with government, we've already seen what is possible. The historic restoration of the Bronx River, the Sheridan Expressway redesign, Starlight Park, Concrete Plant Park are all examples of powerful transformation. Transportation and environmental infrastructure that was historically neglected, that has transformed into vibrant, usable, enjoyable spaces for our communities. In our vision, those are the kinds of investments that our community needs and that I will continue to fight for. So while we confront this painful legacy, this is also our chance not just to repair what's broken, but to reimagine what is possible. That means putting our community at the center of every decision, every design, every dollar spent. This project cannot and will not succeed unless it reflects the needs, the dreams, the dignity of the people who call our community home. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Assemblymember Torres, for grounding us in the history of this place. Next up, I'd like to bring up someone who really spent her entire life in this community and is a leader of Bronx River Houses, Norma Saunders, TA President for Bronx River Houses.
Good morning, everyone. Currently, I represent over 3,000 residents in Bronx River Houses. And we're not against rebuilding across Bronx because of the decay. We're against bringing it to our neighborhood so close where we can't breathe. That's a death sentence for us, and it's something that Bronx River Houses and the residents that I represent will not stand by and let that happen. We're already provided unhealthy air by a concrete plant, and as you can see how close the Cross Bronx is now to Bronx River Houses. And if you look behind you, a lot of our windows can't be open due to the fact of the polluted air that we already breathe. And we will continue to fight to make sure that another plan has to come forth and not impede the life and the quality of clean air to the residents of Bronx River Houses. We suffer now with a lot of asthmatic children, seniors, and a lot of children that are conquering autism because of not having clean air to breathe and breathing in a lot of polluting air, concrete dust, and this is what we have to come against. I definitely will stand by meeting with our governor and DOT to make sure we come up with a better plan to not reinvent, but a better solution that we won't have to endure the unhealthy air that we are breathing now and making it a death sentence. You might as well just put a cemetery across the street, because that's what's going to happen if this goes forward. So I asked to speak to our governor, the state DOT, and let's sit down with our residents, Bronx River Alliance, our elected, and let's see a better decision can be made. Thank you for your time, and I really hope that you stand with us in fighting for better quality air for the Bronx River residents and for the Bronx in general. Thank you so much.
The bridges without the lies. We need air that heals our lives. Fix the bridges without the lies.
We need air that heals our lives.
Thank you, Ms. Norma. Really appreciate your perspective. And next up, I want to bring up someone that has been an activist in this community all of her life as well, representing in the Assembly, Assemblymember Amanda Seppi.
I will be brief because I know it's cold and it's rainy, but I want to thank everybody for being here for this really important cause and this really important message. We've heard a lot about Robert Moses' legacy over the years. When you have a conversation about the South Bronx, you cannot have it in full without talking about the havoc that Robert Moses was able to wreak on our communities. But what people often don't mention is the fact that Robert Moses was empowered by his position of leadership in city and state government. He was running authorities that have the power to build the monstrosities through our communities. And that is what we need to keep close, because today what we're talking about is the state making another decision to victimize the South Bronx. The state using its power again as a weapon against people, against kids, against families in the South Bronx by making the wrong choice. Making the wrong choice by even entertaining the idea that we would expand something like the Cross Bronx for any reason. In the year 2025, I refuse to believe or accept that there are not meaningful alternatives that can get us to where we need to be without continuing the harm that has been born on this community. And we know that they exist because of the advocates who are here, who have provided options, who are willing to come to the table as partners, who have been leading in our communities and will continue to lead in this fight. I have been doing this work for most of my life, and it is a privilege to fight for the place that I love. But it is also a shame that we always have to. That the Bronx is always called to the carpet to fight for its life in one way or another. We are standing here to demand better, but we are also standing here to say enough is enough. This is the last time that we will come to the state and say, hey, you need to remember that there are real people that live here. Hey, it's not fair that the number one reason kids in the Bronx miss school is because of asthma. Hey, you have the power to make things right. Stop using it to make things worse. And so I personally am calling on Governor Hochul, on State DOT, and on all stakeholders to make the right decision, to listen to advocates, to listen to community, and make sure that we're able to get this project over the line in a way that is healthy, that is sustainable, and with an eye toward the future of a greener Bronx, not one that is harmful and harkens to the past. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember Septimo, very eloquent and passionate. Next up, I want to bring up Jackie Cohen from the Tri-State Transportation Campaign.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Very honored to be here. I'm Jackie Cohen, Director of Climate and Equity Policy at Tri-State Transportation Campaign. This project represents everything we're against at Tri-State Transportation Campaign. It's throwing good money after bad. It is exacerbating the legacy of one of the worst highway projects in our nation's history. As Assemblymember Torres said, goods can travel more easily across the Bronx than residents can. I think that speaks volumes to what the needs are of this community. And we know what improves public health outcomes. That's proximity to fewer cars and trucks on the road, access to green space like the beautiful Starlight Park behind us, safer streets for people to walk and cycle. What hurts public health is living next to a polluting highway, restricting access to park and damaging parks like Starlight, and maintaining decades-old cycles of environmental racism. So by building this connector, Governor Hochul is prioritizing the needs of those traveling through the Bronx to get to places like New Jersey and Westchester County, rather than prioritizing the needs of those living in the Bronx right now. And we don't think that's right. It's not fair. This should not be her legacy. We don't need any more transportation projects in the Bronx that put the lives and health of residents at risk. We are calling for the state to, yes, repair the 5 bridges, repair the projects that are necessary, but without exacerbating the footprint of this polluting highway. And we're calling on the governor. Governor Hochul, do not repeat the mistakes of the past. Do not align your legacy with the legacy of Robert Moses. You have the power to stop this project now and reinvest these dollars back into community projects that people of the Bronx really need. So we're calling on you to do that today. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Next up, Danny Pearlstein from Riders Alliance, please.
Thank you so much, Sid, and thank you so much, Assembly members and everybody else for coming out here. You know, I'm Danny Pearlstein. I'm from the Riders Alliance. I grew up in Brooklyn, where I, spent my childhood dodging tailpipes in gridlock on Flatbush Avenue just to get on the subway. Later on, I worked in the shadow of the BQE in Williamsburg, and now I live over in Inwood, where I'm just a few minutes from I-95, and where my kids, were in school in Washington Heights, just steps from the same highway that's crossing right behind us. And what I understand is that New York cannot afford to expand our highways, right? We have an affordability crisis. Everyone knows that. We saw it in the presidential election. We saw it in the mayor's race. We see it in our electricity bills. We can't afford to double down on more expensive ways of getting around that divide our communities, that pump soot into our lungs, soot that's expensive to treat, right? Healthcare is expensive. Federal supports for healthcare are declining. We're going to be shouldering more of that burden. We can't afford that. We need our state, starting from the governor, starting from the state DOT at the top, to invest whatever transportation dollars we have in ways that make it more affordable for New Yorkers to get around, to give people more options, healthier options that protect our lives and protect our wallets. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Danny. Next up, I want to bring up a local health advocate and partner at the coalition, Diana Bernal from the Bronx Health Reach.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much. My name is Diana, and I work with Bronx Health Reach. And through our Creating Healthy Schools and Communities program, we work with schools in the Bronx to improve overall wellness for the schools and their communities. And one of the main health issues a lot of school leaders have expressed to us is their concern with the high asthma rates that they see among their students. And when it comes to the Bronx public schools, they have a higher percentage of children with active asthma compared to the rest of New York City public schools and other boroughs. And with asthma hospitalization rates being higher for children compared to adults. So thanks to Robert Moses' racist urban planning, the Cross Bronx Expressway has been making us sick for decades, bringing traffic and toxic air pollution to our black and brown neighborhoods. And in 2017, the prevalence of people in the Bronx who have ever been told they have asthma was 17%, which is higher than any other borough in the city and higher than the overall prevalence of New York City. And it is therefore no surprise that the Bronx continues to rank year after year last in health outcomes in the entire New York State. This structure will just continue the cycle of environmental injustice, and it will lead to more traffic, more sickness, and worse pollution for years to come. While it is great news that the State Department of Transportation dismissed 2 potential design options from consideration in the Cross Bronx Expressway project, we need to continue advocating for planning and investment that improves our communities and doesn't exacerbate our public health issues. So Governor Hochul and the Department of Transportation want to expand the Cross Bronx Expressway, and we say no. Instead, we say halt the Cross Bronx expansion now. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Diana. Next up, we want to bring a very special perspective. David Gomez is a junior at Fannie Lou Hamer Freedom High School, and he'd like to share some words with us.
Hello. So, like I was introduced, I go to Fannie Lou Hamer High School, which is right here near the Sheridan Boulevard. And I think what we learn about constantly on schools is about the Crosswalk Expressway. That was one of our biggest topics in the school. When we were there, we learned about how it affected teenagers and other youth people when it came to coming up years, and even now how the asthma rates are at an all-time high and the pollution levels are at an all-time high. So creating another bridge wouldn't benefit us at all. And I have peers that are constantly affected by asthma, and they're constantly being affected by everything else and every single health problems that the Cross Bronx Expressway brings us. I think expanding it would not at all be a good idea, and I think I'm very against the idea, because there's not, why bring more issues to the problem? Why constantly, I guess, bring down the youth, and why come we never have a chance to speak about what we want to do, and how come we never have a chance to speak about what we want and what the people feel about and what the people who live here feel about? Why do they always get the first choice instead of the people who are actually being affected get no voice? I think it shouldn't happen at all. It affects our health, it will affect our future generations, and I know for sure that once we get the chance to talk, and once you hear how many people get to share their ideas, then you'll know how much we truly have been affected in ways of our health and mentally as well.
Thank you, David, for so passionate perspective. Last up, I want to bring up a partner and ally of the coalition, Daniela